Greetings, folks, and today we're doing something a little different. We are going to be touring my 500 Days World. Now, you might notice that I'm not actually in my 500 Days World, and that's because this house, if you remember, at the end of my 500 days, was demolished, and I want to tour everything I built in my 500 days and such, so I kind of need to tour this place as well, so... This is actually an old save I have in my 200 Days World, so, yeah, let's get started. So I'm only going to show the things I have demolished in my 200 Days World, and I'll save the rest for when we hop over back to my 500 Days World, so, let's get started. So first we got the old pen of Orange, Jaun, and Slave. It's, pretty similar to the one I have all the way up there in the clouds now. And, yeah. We also got this dragon egg. If you remember, I moved it up to the museum. The old enchanter. Then we have the old nether portal, which I'm not going to go into the nether because it's quite boring. You also have this massive spruce tree. And finally, at my house, which is pretty basic, we have Mel Gibson. Remember him? Looks like there's a bunch of shulker boxes and stuff. We have this massive chest system. Remember when I used to store everything like this? Got a lot worse than 500 days before I finally switched to storage system. And here's my old bed with Hershey down here. Yeah, I think I got him like in the first 20 days. Yeah, he's quite old. And if you also remember, I got Mel Gibson on the very first day. Yeah, I was only able to name him on day 50. That's when I got the name tag. And that's about it. Oh yeah, we have a bunch of this stuff. So, on the wheat farm too. This thing is gone now. But, so yeah, let's just hop over to my 500 Days World now. Alright, so, now we're back on my 500 Days World. Exactly how you remember it. And this is actually a copy of the world. So, yeah. This isn't, so I'm not screwing up any of the actual 500 or 1,000 days recording or any of that to record this video. So, let's just start here with the map room. So, basically a map room shows basically everything I've built. And basically everything I'm going to show you today. And it's a very cool place. Like, I highly suggest you guys make a map room in your world. And, like, it's this big quartz thing that I built before I could buy quartz for my masons, which I'll get to later. But, yeah, it's a nice, impressive build. I'm a big fan of it. Anyways, across the street, we have the Pick a Pet Shop, which is, if you remember, I made this a complete replica to Stampy's Pick a Pet Shop. Mainly because, I used to watch them as a kid. And if you go in here, now sometimes, whenever you go in here, monsters spawn, and, they'll drop down here, but unfortunately it doesn't seem like they're doing so right now. But, yeah, basically, every single mob, we got, like, a dog from a dog army, you got some pigs, sheep, and these two cats. Now, this is a random cat, but if you remember, this is actually the final cat I tamed for, a complete catalog down. Where is complete catalog? I forget where it is. No, it's probably in Huntsville. Yeah, complete catalog. So yeah, a little bit of history in there. Now, over here is an old skeleton disc farm. And over here is my mini TNT block, which is covering up my gunpowder farm. Now, this covers up my gunpowder farm, of course, which I built began construction around day 180. And if we go below here, there's actually a bunch of old construction. This is where the monster farm originally ended, and it was like in a huge pit, but now there's all this construction and stuff above it. So let me just get out of here. So yeah, it's gunpowder farm, and if we go up here, there's even this fuse up here. And, why are there so many mobs? So, right here we have my villager raider, which is a recreation of the old one, which is still over there, which I should probably check out pretty soon. yeah, we got the village over here. There's 3 villagers in that chest with some bread. And in here we got my shepherds, which basically have open cured. So I can sell 1 wool to them for 1 emerald. Like, these are a very important part of my economy. And it's like just simple, probably very expensive building, considering the fact I can sell all this wool for 1 emerald. Next we have this McDonald's with a hole of sky, which I should probably get rid of. A door I need to replace. And my farmer, which I buy my food from. Got a very, very nice build. Very simple. And over here is one of the more recent builds. We have my greenhouse, which basically, if I go in here, I'll be able to grab some seeds. And if I flick this lever, it will actually start automatically dispensing bone meal, so I can just keep on growing wheat, as much wheat as I want, or I can just grow anything I want, really. Now, all the way over here, we're getting back to this street with my stonemasons, and they're a very recent build, which basically I can just sell stone to these guys for 1 emerald apiece. I might as well sell these stone to them. Don't really need to. This is copy. It's worthless. Get out of here if you use a stone, you pricks. And then we have my wool plant, which basically produces me tons and tons of wool, so I can sell it to my shepherds. A decent amount there. Over here we have my year garden, which basically every year I use it. So basically every year I place a diamond block on one of these areas of flower to celebrate the year. So we got day 365. Then you have to celebrate day 720 in my next video, or 730 actually. Yeah. It's a very nice garden. It only got destroyed once during a raid, if you remember. Then over here, I completely skipped over this, but we have the 420 house, which basically I use to celebrate day 420, which, I'm gonna just get rid of these useless bones. So yeah, currently have 2 rooms. A little coming soon sign, I completely forgot about that, but basically, eventually I'll build something over here. But basically, we have my hot tub, which you're gonna swim around here, have a cool time. Like my beautiful face, I'll talk about that later. And you can have some funny leaves that you can toss into the fires. Yeah, it's very nice. Get out of here. I don't want to let's get over here before I get myself hit high. So, and finally, we have the nether portal over here, which is basically just leads to nether. There's actually a few things I might want to check out in the nether. So in here we got my nether hub, which is basically, yeah, it's my nether hub. We got the old nether area with the old fortress. We got a path up here that leads all the way to the nether roof. Now, for some reason during 500 days, I almost fell. Oh god! So basically, for some reason during my 500 days, I was too lazy to actually move my nether portal system all the way up here to the roof, because it would actually be way easier if I just got around using this roof. So I'm gonna have to do it for 1,000 days. But yeah, nothing really special. We have a few caverns. So we got the path to the jungle and the coral reef. We got the path to the Soul Sand Fortress, the Soul Sand Valley Fortress. I'm not gonna bother going anywhere there. But a little bit of spoiler, I have some big plans for this fortress. You just have to wait till 1,000 days to see. Now, over here, we have my animals. So basically, we have my exotic zoo where I keep all my animals. So, we got my most recent addition, the turtle pen. Very nice. We got the polar bear pen, which I built in 200 days, one of the oldest. It's a very basic design. And then, over here, we have my very inhumane mushroom pen, which I built on the very first 100 days. You have like a bunch of mushrooms crammed in here, like just like, yeah, Henry OG. Henry OG is my original mushroom. He's the very first mushroom I ever got, and I've been keeping it in here. Eventually, I'm gonna have to try and move most of these mushrooms out too, so this is actually a reasonable exhibit again. And then we have apparently the sheep and ocelot exhibit. Now, if you remember, these ocelots were torturous to get. And they have not, and their reign of terror has not ended after I got them in here because one managed to sneak up all the way on that tree somehow, and these vines are horrifically ugly. I'm gonna have to remove them at some point. Now over here we have my panda exhibit with the brown pandas. They're very rare. I'm very lucky that I managed to get them. Now, yeah, we have my brown pandas, and one other thing in this area I forgot to mention. There's this little cave here, and over here is my cat monument. Now, I think I explained this in my 500 days, but I'll explain it again. So, basically, before 1.14, if you wanted a cat, you had to go to a jungle to get ocelots. That grass block isn't supposed to be there. Probably Enderman, but basically, if you wanted cats, you have to go to a jungle, find an ocelot, and then tame it. But after 1.14, cats began spawning in villages, so ocelots became obsolete since you can no longer tame them, really. So yeah, it's a little monument to the old ocelots. You have some benches down here and stuff, some vines. It's a pretty secretive village. I'm pretty sure if you went on this road yourself, you probably wouldn't even notice what's down here unless I pointed out to you specifically. Jungle pens are the only pens now you see on this riding. Now, I actually ran out of rockets by the looks of things, but since this is just a copy of my world, I can just, yeah, I might as well just fly around creative. Don't even need a nitro. Now, it might be worthwhile to talk about my inventory. So, I have a full netherite armor. Most of my tools are completely netherite. I have a perfect bow, a perfect sword, and perfect pickaxes. And we also have an ender chest, which, oh crap. I have my ender chest, which I keep a bunch of other equipment. I didn't actually mention me getting this horn, but yeah, it's kind of an ugly horn, but I found it in a pillager outpost. Oh, there's rockets in here. That's interesting. I found it in a pillager outpost while I was going on that crazy journey for all cats, and I just decided not to mention it. But now I have cheats, so I can just go to /game mode creative. There. Don't even need to worry about rockets anymore, or food for that matter. So, now we have this entire general area down. We have the old village. So, all my villagers, well, most of them, have all come from this village. And basically, it's completely desolate now. I have some ideas of what I want to do with this village. But, yeah, for now, it just sits here. Completely desolate, with no one tending to it. So, over here, we have the remnants of my old house. There's a few things that still remain. First of all, this entire cutout area. We have, this is the place where I housed my very first shepherd. He ended up dying towards the end of 100 days. We got these 2 sheep, which I bred to become my sheep army over there in that building. And then we got the old breeder, which just houses some librarian villagers. And in case you're wondering what happened to my flesher after my 100 days, he actually snuck into the nether somehow, and now he's just stuck there. I still go there from occasion to buy arrows from him. I might move him one day, but yeah, we have this old breeder. I'm hoping to move all my librarians somewhere else so I can finally demolish this place. Like, that's the only reason why I didn't demolish this place, because I didn't have a solution for the librarians yet, but I hope to find a solution in 1,000 days. Got a bunch of old chests. In here we got my concrete maker. It's not the greatest design in the world. No haram. It's not the greatest design in the world since somehow concrete can end up going in here. Well, basically, hold on. So basically, you put concrete powder in the suspense dropper, and what you do is that with one hand you're supposed to place concrete, and the other hand you're supposed to break it. Basically, the idea is that it's supposed to dispense power back to you, so you can go for an infinite amount, but often the concrete dispenser dispenses more concrete than you actually need, so occasionally you'll have to go in here and just take away items from your offhand so it doesn't completely clog up your inventory, because once again, this isn't the greatest design in the world. Like, I mean, it works. It's a lot better than some other methods. And over here, some of you might remember this, but this is also the old place where I used to house a bunch of my shepherds, and down here is where I housed all my sheep. Yeah, it's a bunch of old junk. Nah, this is an old little hole. And also we have this rose bush for some reason, this old tree. And finally, we have this big monument right here. A monument to Luke Noble, because, oh my god, Tom. So, this guy is the sole reason why I decided to create the 100 Days, and he's also the person who invented the genre. So, there's a little monument to him. There's 2 diamond blocks. That was expensive back then, because this is made back in 100 Days when I wasn't really that rich, but, yeah, this little sign, Luke the Noble. Thank you for motivating me to make my own 100 Days. SheepGod. Yeah, we have this very basic, very nice design of his head. His skin is like all plain gray, so there won't really be much point to make his entire skin. But yeah. And finally, this is probably the last place I'll have to visit on the asylum, but we have this world spawn, which is basically this emerald block. Why is it alive? Oh yeah. Battles places are keeping them alive. So basically, this block of emeralds symbolizes the world spawn, because this is the world spawn. Negative 31, negative 31. I wonder what 00 is. Like, I've never... Interesting. So, apparently this is 00. Yeah, it's cool. Maybe. Yeah, anyways, well. This isn't my real world, so I guess there's not really any point to doing so. So yeah, it's basically everything on my island. Oh wait, one more thing I forgot to mention. The beach, which is an absolute horrendous mess. We have some miscellaneous turtles. We got a bunch of sugarcane, a bunch of cacti, which I almost never harvest unless I really need green gunpowder. These are a bunch of furnaces I created when I was first constructing the cruise, which I'll review in a second. Here's a hole from the charged creeper, and here's the remnants of my old sheep farm. This place is an absolute mess. This is gonna have to receive a serious glow up in 1,000 days. But yeah. Let's get rid of all this junk in my inventory. Over here, we have my cruise, which basically is not done yet, as you can tell. Like, half the roof is still open. All these places don't have any windows. Yeah, we have... This is where I want a pool to go. Over here is where I want the funnel to go. And over here is the bridge. So basically, this is like my cruise. The only place I really have done right now... This place isn't really... No, we have the atrium, which still needs a lot of work. I have my storage system, which I store all my stuff. Such as my totems. We got all of these chests with all the color codes. And yeah, all the woods except for cherry wood, which I'll have to get when 1.20 releases. And yeah, that's there's not really much to say. It's just my storage room. Oh, my heads too. Woods. Well, I might as well show you my diamond collection. I have my original diamond. Bunch of deep slate diamond ore that I've yet to convert. We got a bunch of diamonds over here. We got a bunch of just miscellaneous armor and tools and stuff. Alright, so up here we have the clouds with my house and my museum, which basically I show a bunch of important things from the 100 Days and all my entire series. So I explained most of these things when I was putting them in. So we got my first pick, my second pick, my rare ore wall. This is probably just some random pick. It's probably gonna have to remove that at some point. We have my face on the map, the dragon egg, my first beacon, the dragon head, my first clock, and we have the warden head, enchanted god apple, and the boat from the first camping trip. Remember that? I'm gonna have to show you the camping site later on. But yeah, and hold on. If I show you down here, we got a lever right here powering the dragon head. So, yes, it's a very nice build. Unfortunately, it's a pretty small museum, though. I'm gonna have to expand it at some point. So over here, we have Orange and Slave's pen. So, you're probably thinking, wait, where's Stone? Well, he's 6 blocks under the ground right now. But we have Orange and Slave. It was a very delicate procedure trying to get all the 3 back up here from the ground. But in the end was worth it, since I managed to get them all the way up here. And I actually occasionally visit them now. And remember, Slave was tied down originally, but after Dragoon died, I just decided to let her roam free. Over here, we have my house, which there is only a few things in it. So basically, we have this place with actually a backup elytra because I realized, didn't record it, but I realized that I respawn on the clouds, so I have no way of getting down. So I had to have backup elytra in case I ever do have to go down. So we have my backup elytra. We have a bunch of music discs. I'm not going to play them right now. A few couches, and up here we have my bedroom with Mel Gibson. It's a cute little kitty. We have my... Yeah, I built this all around like day 360, I want to say. Day 350, day 360, around there. We have Charcoal with his bone dispenser. Remember, I got him around day 300. And we have Hershey and his new and improved tank. Now, there's two more things I want to show you before we leave my greater island region. So we got 6 Island. We also have this old shipwreck. I completely forgot about that. This is actually how I got bamboo. And where it's basically there's some bamboo down here in one of these chests. There's not anymore because I took it, but yeah. No idea where a crafting table came from, but yeah. We have the 6 Island. We have the Emerald upside down tea. Then we have this big cobble upside down tea, which is 5 times the size of a normal one. And we have a beacon shooting up on the top. I'm not going to explain why it's there. And here we have a golden 69. The only reason this is here is because I had no idea what to do for day 469, so I just built this. It's just a waste of gold. It doesn't need to exist. I'm probably going to remove it eventually. And over here we have my race course, so basically I just made this for like some fun good times. It doesn't really have any specific purpose except for like looking nice. But yeah, it's a nice little race course, and if you go down here, this is where you're supposed to board. There's hold on. Both in this chest, and we have my best time, SheepGods 2008, 103. So that basically covers it for the general region around the center, or what I like to call the greater Sheep Island region. So over here, we start getting off the island with my Spruce Village Island. So basically, it's just this old spruce village. I wonder if there's actually any villagers left in here. Like, I don't think there are. Like, actually, I think there is like 1 or 2 of them still left. But yeah, we have this old village. There's nothing really important here except the nostalgic cemetery where here lies the grave of Jaun. So remember, around like day 361, it says it right there. Basically, he was born day 69 and survived almost 300 days in this entire world. But basically, during construction on my pen up in the clouds, I accidentally nudged him off the clouds and he fell to his death. There wasn't really anything I could do about it. Yeah, here he lies. This is his old rule. Let's just stay here and have a moment of silence for our fallen friend. Alright, and down here, we have this old lush cave, which, like, this is just a massive creeper hole. Yeah, we have this basic path all the way down to this lush cave. And, yeah, it's where I originally found Hershey in the first 100 days. As you can see, I wasn't really that well equipped, so I had to take a bunch of precautions to actually survive. So, yeah, just a lush cave. Alright, now we begin our journey into the mainland with this bridge. Ooh. There's a light sensor all the way over there, which basically when it turns night, this bridge lights up. But since it's out of render distance, it was off for a while. But basically, it's just a big bridge connecting my island to the mainland. And this is basically what I like to call Raid Town. It's where I do all my raids and how I get all my tomes. What the frick is this song? Like, what the frick is this music? Alright, so right here is my big horse stable. And basically it's the place to hold my horses. This is my prized horse over here. They don't have a name right now, but they're pretty fast, have a decent amount of health, and as you can see here, they're a pretty good jumper. Hold on. Okay, nearly 4 blocks. Yeah. So yeah, basically I breed horses here and try to get a perfect one. So if we go to the other side of the raid town, we get my dog army building. There's a big dog face, and down here's all my dogs. And basically, if you remember, I used all these dogs to kill the warden and defeat a raid. And a lot of dogs died, unfortunately, but that's the way things go sometimes. And over there is actually, this is a path to Deep Dark, which I took my dogs down. And if you remember, I also found a normal diamond, like a non-deep sleep diamond, which is like really rare these days. Now, over here, which is actually in between. Wait, never mind. It's not really in between two ocean miners, but over here is a giant model of my face. And hold on, let me just pull up a map here. Basically, this is just a giant map art of my character's face. Hold on. Pretty schmexy, isn't it? Yeah, it took like 30 days to build, from like collecting the items to actually finishing it, but there's a big chunk of time that I spent working on the 420 house, because this was built around the same time as day 420. Yeah, basically one huge model of my face took a lot of work and resource collecting, but in the end, I think that's all worth it. And to finish things off, out here in the distance, just like 200 blocks south of my island, we got my old camping place. So, if you guys remember, towards the very end of my 500 days video, I went camping, and this is where I camped. So we got a little fire here, and here we got my old camping house. Right here was where the map used to be, and right here is like, honestly, one of the most depressing mines. I actually didn't really show much of this during the video, but there wasn't really a point to it. Like, if we just go down here, hold on, there's actually something worthwhile down here, but where did it go? Alright, I found it. It's just like, my mind was just blocking off, but yeah, there's just this little cave that I just mined out of a little. Got most of my stuff here. Looking down here, I'm actually surprised. Like, I wasn't that far from the deep slate level, like, only like a dozen blocks or so. I thought it was like way further down. So this is actually quite a decent house. Like, the design wasn't that complex, but it was simple and sweet. Here's a bunch of my belongings. I abandoned some of my more important stuff, like the iron sword and pickaxe. But yeah, there's a bunch of stuff in here. Yeah, nothing really important. And out here's sort of a monument to me and Charco, who are the ones that went camping in this place. Just an orange chest for SheepGod, which, if you remember, is my favorite color, and a black sea for charcoal. And interestingly, I literally just figured this out like 2 seconds ago, but this island is just in render distance of the ocean monument I raided at the end of 100 days, and is where I got my first sea lanterns. I have some big monument plans for this monument back here. Just wait till 500 days. I mean, frick, 1,000 days. I keep confusing 500 and 1,000 days with each other. My God. Yes. Nothing really is here. It's completely ransacked. But on that note, I think we've toured just about everything in my world. I know there's a few more important locations and locations and notes, but since I never really built anything there, really did anything much there, I decided not to show them. Well, if you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and make sure to watch the original 500 days and my original 200 days, and if your ears can bear it, the audio for my 100 days, so you get a full context of all these buildings. But for now, bye. And I'll see you either in the next 500 days, which will be my 1,000 days, or like maybe I have something other video planned. I have nothing planned so far, but bye.